Hey everybody, welcome back to Going for Two with Jack Taylor. My name is Jack Taylor,
My name's Hunter too.
and this is season 9 of our podcast. We are so excited to be back here with you. This will be our 4th football season to talk about, actually. So don't ask questions about where these seasons are coming from. This is our system. Man, we are
Trust the process.
Trust the process. Yeah, we're super excited to be back talking about Mississippi State football again. It's a new era, new logos, new head coach, and but the same old disrespect. So today in this episode, as we're previewing the season, we're actually not going to touch really at all on Southeastern Louisiana because it's a game that we know and we expect to win. So we're going to put off a game prediction for that one and save those for less predictable games. But we're going to give a schedule prediction where we go through each game and talk about whether we're going to win or lose, and then we're going to go the preseason media questions that Brian Haydad at Thunder and Lightning always puts out. So those will be fun. Get some conversations started, and then we'll get into our first pick'em of the season. So Hunter, are you ready for this?
Yeah. I guess this is gonna be a shorter show. One thing
Yeah.
I did just remember about our pick'em,
Mm-hmm.
we forgot to do player of the game and score for our last
Okay. We can do that when we get there.
one. Okay. I just wanted to put that in your mind.
Right. I'll be thinking about it. All right. So, as we said, we're going to start off with the schedule prediction. So we will start off, I guess, with the little bit of a game review that we're going to do. Southeastern Louisiana, we're both going to chalk that one up as a win, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
All right. So that will be on Saturday, home opener in the first of 8 home games for the first time in school history. So that's what's really cool about this year. In a year with so much uncertainty, 8 home games is really going to make a difference, I think. I mean, Zach Arnett does have some pretty tough road games at South Carolina, at Arkansas, at Auburn, and at A&M, and he'll have to find a way to be a head coach in the SEC at tough road environments. But 8 home games really should help him. So starting off with a win, Southeastern Louisiana. And I did see a really cool stat. I think you sent it to me. The last time that we started off a season with an FCS opponent was in 2018, I believe, with Stephen F. Austin. And the cool thing about that was Stephen F. Austin's offensive coordinator at the time was Kevin Barbay, who is now our offensive coordinator. So here we are 5 years later, and he's in a completely different place. Other side of the field, and we're happy to have him. So
The game that Keaton.
yeah, Nick was suspended, I think, for something. I don't know. But yeah, that was a cool stat. I can't remember who posted that. Maybe Justin Frommer. But anyway, so that's week 1. Moving on to week number 2, we've got the Arizona Wildcats coming to Starkville for the second game of a home and home with them. Jaden Delara still leading the Wildcats. So what do you have in this one, Hunter?
I'm gonna give us the win here. I'm glad that it went this way.
Right,
Because
where they were
like kind of building something out there. And
yeah.
I'm glad we got them last year at their place, and now they're coming here.
Right. I mean, 2 years ago, I mean, they would have been on a short list of if you were naming the worst teams in Power 5. And now, I mean, they're like you said, they're kind of making a name for themselves, and now people are saying that we're kind of on that list of the worst teams in the Power 5. But like I said, I think that can be chalked up to just some disrespect that Mississippi State's used to getting. So I'm also going to give us the win here. We handled them pretty easily last year. The score might look a little bit closer than it was, but I think it was pretty dominant after the first offensive possession that they had. So I expect us to do more of the same next week. So week number 3 is LSU, and I'm pretty sure this is where we're both going to find our first loss of the season. It does kind of set up good for us. I mean, it's a weird time, and just like in 2021, we're kind of getting LSU in an early game, early in the season and early in the day, where I feel like it can go either way. in any sport, I don't really want to play LSU late in the season. So it seems like we always kind of, and I don't want to play them at night. So yeah, playing them as early as possible in the day and in the season. So, but I still will give us a loss there, just because they did finish so strong last year, and are returning a lot, especially Jaden Daniels. So
it would feel like a homer pick. Like if I picked Mississippi State here, it would be because I'm a Mississippi State fan.
right,
I don't want to do that.
yeah, especially like right now. If 2 weeks into the season something might change, we could see him just fall completely flat against Florida State, or we could just look really, really good somehow. But yeah, right now, as before the season starts, I'm definitely picking LSU there. All right, you want to start us off with our first road game of the year?
Yeah. Going into the to the sandstorm, going to South Carolina. This is a confusing one. Do you remember when we were Beamer fans? We're like, hey, this guy's kind of quirky and cool, and then everyone started liking Beamer, and now I guess we don't.
Yeah, their social media did a good job of like making him seem quirky, and now it's just a little too much.
It's all quirky.
Yeah, I don't think I mind him, but yeah, when he was kind of under the radar, I liked him a little bit more.
That was a good time. Yeah, but for this game, it's a really tough environment. I don't think we know what time this game is.
I don't think so.
Better. If it's night, I'm gonna like it a little bit less.
Yeah.
Their season was so weird. Rattler wasn't good for like for a big portion of the season.
Yeah. He turned it on for 2 weeks, truly. I mean, a game against Tennessee and a game against Clemson, which if you're going to choose 2 games to just pop off in, those would be the 2 you would choose, especially as a South Carolina quarterback. But the team fell flat against, I think, against Missouri and Kentucky, if I'm not mistaken. South Carolina may have beaten Kentucky, but I think they lost the battle of the Columbias. Like, South Carolina was not a good team for most of last year. So,
they lost to Missouri.
Yeah.
Oh, and Florida.
Florida. That's the bad loss I was thinking about.
I don't understand what happened. That was just insane things happening at that point.
Yeah.
But I'll give us the win, TBD. I'll figure out more in a few weeks, but I'll give us the win on that one.
Like I said, and it's hard to make a prediction, especially not knowing what time of the day it is. But I'll give us the loss here. It's Zach Arnett's first road game as a head coach, and I don't necessarily know what effect that's going to have, because I mean he's obviously been a defensive coordinator in some pretty crazy environments. But I mean him just calling the shots, I feel like it'll have some effect, and that's going to be our second loss on the schedule for me. So as of right now, I have us at 2-2. You have us at 3-1. As we head back home to face Alabama. So,
I'm at 3-2. Next question.
All right, yeah, I'm not going to predict us to win. Last time Alabama came to Starkville and played, me and you had some very, very high hopes, and then we failed to score a touchdown. So
do the opposite this year.
Yeah, there's no way we're scoring a touchdown. No way at all.
Not even a field goal. We'd be lucky to get 10 points.
Honestly, we're going to get shut out. It's going to be 49-0 at half. So yeah, that's our prediction. Now I have us at 2-3. Hunter, you're at 3-2. And now this is where we can make a run.
If what you're predicting has happened, how do you think you'll be feeling?
Sitting at 2-3 on a three game losing streak, I'm gonna be really, really thankful for this random Western Michigan game sitting in the middle of the schedule here to put it into that skid. But then you start a really tough 4-game stretch. So I'm going to chalk us up both for a win against Western Michigan, who struggled with who was that tonight?
Uh, some school that I low-key thought was a high school. St. Francis. They ended
Francis.
up pulling away, but that game
Okay. Yeah. So I'll give us. We'll both have us with a win over Western Michigan, but then you start a 4-game stretch with at Arkansas, at Auburn, at Kentucky at home, and then at Texas A&M. So, kind of when you look at the schedule every year, these are 4 of the games that are toss-ups. I feel like, and when it falls on a year where you get the Arkansas, Auburn, Texas A&M games at home, you feel really good. You feel terrible about the Kentucky game when it's on the road, but you have them at home. I say that we win at Arkansas, at Auburn, and Kentucky. I'm just gonna call it.
Yeah. Arkansas. I'll kind of go game by game on this one. Arkansas. I think we'll be able to handle them. Probably the least confidence I have on this one. And then at Auburn, I think we're better.
Yeah, and one note on Auburn, we are at the tail end of this 5-game stretch for them, where they play at Texas A&M, they have Georgia at home, at LSU, and then they host Ole Miss and then us. So we're at the tail end of a brutal 5-game stretch that's a month-long stretch of just really difficult teams. We kind of fall at the dead end of that like they could be beat up. We have no idea where injuries could be, and I'm going to give it to us. Hugh Freeze is the wild card there for me, but we are a better team than them, I feel like, and I'm gonna have us winning that one.
Like Hayden Thorne isn't a game-changing quarterback, right?
Right.
I don't think he is.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then Kentucky home team wins.
Yeah, home team wins, and that's the game where we're wearing our interlocking MSU, the 1998 throwbacks for the 1998 team that went to the SEC championship game. Logo and the whole uniform set looks really, really good. I'm super excited about that, and I think that's come out since the last time we recorded. So first time hearing about it.
Zach Selman.
Yeah, shout out Zach for real. If this is the first time you're hearing about that, please just download Twitter. Just don't get your news from us.
Actually,
don't say X. One more thing about that 3-game stretch with Arkansas, Auburn, and Kentucky. Arkansas, they have a really, really tough schedule too. It resembles the Auburn schedule a lot. They just a really, really tough for them. I think back to the 2021 game against Arkansas, where me and you were both there too. We were a very inconsistent team, and we took that Arkansas team down to the wire. And I know KJ Jefferson is 2 years more experienced now, but at what point do we recognize that he might not be a game-changing quarterback? I mean, his
rushing stats, like people make him out to be some absolute dual threat quarterback.
Like he's not Cam Newton.
Like it's not what he does. Like yeah, he's a big guy. He'll get you your 3-yard rush if you need it, as long as he doesn't fumble at the goal line against Texas A&M. Very world. But like he's not. When people talk about KJ Jefferson, you never hear them say anything specifically about what makes him good.
I just hear that he's the most experienced quarterback in the SEC.
Have you ever heard anyone specifically talk about what makes KJ Jefferson good?
Yeah, I feel like I hear the word dynamic, but I would almost rather just have the word consistent that's attached to Will Rogers.
Strength, accuracy?
Nope.
You never have, like...
And just because we're having this little rant here, I know that he's going to be in New York for the Heisman ceremony in December. So he very well could have an incredible final season and make a push to get drafted. But uh, he didn't play against us last year, and I think that they had a better chance to win because of that. Like Malik Hornsby was incredible. Like, he had some incredible plays that KJ Jefferson could not have made, and I think he made every play that KJ could have made. Um, and now he's no longer on the team. So, um, yeah, KJ Jefferson, he could be a difference maker this year, but I haven't seen it. So I give us the edge just for having a more consistent quarterback. Um, yeah, moving on to.
At least he plays. Like, even
Yeah.
if it's not just like consistent, like skill wise, he's out there.
Yeah. That moves us to the fourth game of this 4-game stretch that I mentioned, and it's at Texas A&M. You can point to the recency or the recent success that we've had against Texas A&M. Winning more than we've lost in the last decade. But before the season starts, it's really going to be difficult for me to ever be confident about us beating Texas A&M. Really, whether it's at home or on the road. This one's at Kyle Field, and I'm gonna give us a loss here. They're just a more talented team, and they always will be. So anytime we beat A&M, it's going to be a shock. But I've been more surprised before.
I think last year we were both very vocal. We were going to beat A&M.
Before the season?
Yeah, I'm almost positive. But people want to be like, oh, it's A&M. They're gonna mess it up with all this talent. What if they don't?
What if they go 12-0? And
what if the third most talented team in the SEC plays like it?
What if one of like 5 active coaches in the country with a national championship plays like he's one of the 5 active coaches with a national championship?
Like, their offensive coordinator has had a Heisman winner.
Yeah.
and I like, you can clown them, but because Jimbo kind of sucks and Motorcycle Man funny, but like, it could work, and I don't.
Yeah.
Yeah. It could work, and people are just acting like it's absolutely not a possibility.
Yeah. I'm gonna give us a loss at A&M. I'll be pleasantly surprised, and I mean by that point, it might not even be a surprise for us to win. I will give us a loss to bring us to 6-4 on my schedule, and you are going to say,
oh yeah, loss. That puts us at
7-3. 7-3. Okay, so we're 1 game apart at this point. Week 11, it will be an 11 a.m. game, the week before the Egg Bowl, and against Southern Miss. So we've had, if I'm counting right, we've had 3 games against Southern Miss since 2014. We played them in 14 and 15, and then we played them in 19. And we've handled them pretty well every time. I don't see this one being any different. I'm going to give us a win, and we can look forward to the Egg Bowl after that one.
Yeah.
I don't have much to say about it. On to the Egg Bowl now. It's a toss-up every year. It seems to flip-flop back and forth whether the home team has advantage or not. We just put a stop to a 2-game skid of losing to Ole Miss. And you know what? I don't really know. They've got a loaded quarterback room, but for some reason I just have a confidence, and I kind of always do. Like this makes or breaks your season, and whether or not Mississippi State fans want to admit that, it's true. So I'm going to give us a win to cap off Zach Arnett's first season as head coach, and he gets to win the Egg Bowl at the end of it too. So
yeah, I also have us winning, putting us at 9-3. I would like to bring up last year. I believe your predictions were perfect on this season.
were they really?
I think so. 1-0 Memphis, 2-0 Arizona, 2-1 LSU, beat Bowling Green, beat A&M, beat Arkansas, lose to Kentucky, lose to Alabama. Oh, oh, you had us losing to Auburn.
Oh man,
Wait, that may be me. There's
I
my
didn't remember going
there's
perfect.
there's my beat Georgia. That was gonna be
Yeah,
cool.
you definitely weren't perfect.
I was close. If you switch the Auburn and Georgia, it was a typo. I was right. So just forget what I said about one of us being perfect on the air.
Yeah,
It was Hey Dad that was perfect.
right, right. Okay, so just a little bit to cap off this one. I have us at 8-4. You have us at 9-3, and both of those predictions are so much higher than what the media is predicting. I mean, I've seen as low as 4-8 is like what people are saying we're going to be, and Zach Arnett being fired at the end of the year. We're projected to be seventh in just about every poll there is, seventh in the SEC West, and national media is referring to us as the us and Vandy are the two worst teams in the entire SEC. I look at our team, and the questions that I have are, is our defensive backs going to be as good? Because we just lost first round draft pick and Emmanuel Forbes. We just lost Tyrus Wheat. So I mean, those are two really important guys we have to replace. Offensively, I mean, Ra Thomas and Caleb Ducking aren't going to be there, but I think we have a lot of depth at wide receiver. Um, Offensive and defensive lines are really, really solid. Uh, too deep. You have experience at literally every position. I feel like you have juniors and up at every position, and I don't understand the disrespect nationally, other than just the fact that we don't have Mike Leach as our coach anymore. Which, I mean, people when he was our coach, they said that our offense was stale. So why is it? Why is that making us worse in predictions?
I think I kind of thought about this the other day, and it's like you look back at last year and you're like, oh, we won 9 games. That's good and everything. And then predictions come out this year when it's the same team minus like 4 guys. Like there's
with
22 seniors starting or something.
With more home games, I feel. I mean, like
we aren't playing Georgia.
Yeah. We just traded Georgia for South Carolina and are predicted to be worse.
At home. Like
yeah.
But I think the issue with the media is there like okay, last year we state overachieved.
Yeah.
So you return us to closer to the mean. And then you have a bunch of teams who we beat that underachieve. If you make all of them one game better, because they're gonna be average this year. I mean, where are you getting that one win from?
Yeah.
And I think it's just easy target, and really sucks that there's nothing this team can do about it for next year, because then all the veterans will be gone.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a tough position. If they say we're 7th in the West next year, they're probably right.
Yeah. I mean, newcomers are going to have to make plays. I mean, you're going to have to do everything for us next year. I mean, we're going to have to get probably a transfer quarterback, and the freshmen that we get next year are going to have to really, really quickly become playmakers. So I understand. Somebody has to be predicted 7th in the West every year. I mean, you can't just leave that spot blank.
Isn't it Auburn?
But yeah, I mean, do they just not want to be the guy that puts Auburn at 7 because a decade ago they
Hugh Freeze?
I don't know. And in Arkansas, I get it's a bigger national brand, but why are they supposed to be so much better than we are? We have, I'm pretty sure I heard Robbie and Haydad say we have more 4-stars on our roster, so it's not like you can.
We have better players.
Like we we are a more talented team, and we beat them 41-17 last year, with the same team. I think we both have very similar teams. So anyway, that's my little rant. But it doesn't matter where you predicted when the season starts. It just matters
Arkansas's getting a new offense too,
Yeah, yeah.
and new defense. But it's um,
But anyway, so let's move on. So schedule predictions are over. I had us 8-4. You had us 9-3. Now we're moving on to Hey Dad's media questions. First one we just answered. What will MSU's regular season record be? So we'll move on to number 2. Will Rogers, he needs 2,473 passing yards to become the SEC's all-time leading passer. Does he beat that number this season? We both have yes on here, right? Okay, so just for reference, in 2020, he threw for 1,976. 21, he threw for 4,739. And then last year, he threw for 3,713. So he would have to, I mean, he doesn't have to even get close to those numbers from the last 2 seasons, which are the 2 regular seasons he's played in, to reach the nearly 2,500 that he has to get. So I think he'll get that probably pretty easily. So, and if he doesn't, there will be no threat of him getting drafted, and he will be our quarterback next year. So he'll get it at some point. Next question number 3 is: will Mississippi State have a 1,000-yard rusher this season? What you got?
I said yes because I'd really like to see that for Woody. But
Yeah.
Thinking about it now, seeing the depth chart, probably should have said no here, but I'm gonna stick with yes just because I want that for Woody.
Okay, yeah. A little bit of reference here as well. Woody and Dylan, they've played. They've been our 1-2 punch at running back for the last 3 years. In the last 2 seasons, which just excluding the COVID year, but the last 2 seasons, they have combined for over 1,500 yards of all-purpose. That's running and catching, and Woody won't be as involved in the passing game this year, I'm assuming. So, he'll get more touches running the ball, and he is the number 1 guy. So, I mean, he'll have the opportunities. He'll have the opportunities. But I'll say no, he doesn't get it. I think that there's going to be more committee, just like we have seen the last couple of years. I think Seth Davis and Simeon Price are going to get chances to run the ball. I'm hearing a lot of good things about Seth Davis from camp, that he's just pretty impossible to bring down. He's just kind of a slippery little running back. So I'm excited to see him, and because of that, I don't think Woody's going to reach 1,000 yards. All right, you can start us off with question number 4.
Who will lead Mississippi State in interceptions this year? I said Marcus Banks because he looks cool, and yeah, that's pretty much it. He's saying that safety now. So.
All right, so you got a safety doing it to replace Forbes at cornerback for the last 3 years. I'm going to stick with a cornerback and just go to Cameron Richardson. Really. Nothing besides, I mean, he's going to be the number 1 corner on our team. So maybe he'll get some opportunities. All right.
Yeah, I guess I'll do this next one. Will Mississippi State finish higher in total defense or offense this
season? There's still just so much question about our offense. I mean, again, we talked about the media just not really knowing much about it, and giving us a little bit of disrespect because of it. But we really don't know what it's going to look like. We don't know if they're going to just slowly evolve from the air raid to a more pro style, or if it's just going to be all at once and no air raid tendencies are left at all. So with that being in question, I'm just going to go ahead and say the safe answer with defense, because our defense should look very similar.
Yeah. And our defense was better last year. Pretty sure.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
I'm gonna go with defense again.
I mean, Matt Brock isn't bringing anything new to the defense as far as I know.
Yeah.
So
one thing before we get to the next 2 ones, It's so weird that the players on this team are like the only Mississippi State football players we've talked about on this podcast.
Yeah.
That it was them when they were freshmen
Yeah.
showing up. Like,
I mean, we were talking about Forbes and Emerson, and this is our first year to not have either of those guys.
and like Will Rogers, true freshman coming in the start. Yep, that was our like third episode.
Yeah. It's funny that
Weird.
we could be doing this next year and we could still be talking about Will.
Oh, it's so bizarre.
But yeah.
Next one.
All right, so
which
yeah,
game
go for
that
it.
you would predict Mississippi State to win? Are they most likely to lose?
I touched on this. I predicted us to win the Auburn game, but I will say that that's the one we're most likely to lose, just because I mean Hugh Freeze is just a wild card. I mean it was our best team ever couldn't beat Hugh Freeze, and so I'm just gonna still have that in the back of my mind and say that that's the one that we would be most likely to lose.
I'm gonna go South Carolina here, just because my other choices were LSU.
Yeah. Okay. All right, and then I'll close this out with which game that you predicted MSU to lose are they most likely to win? And we did make a pact to not say the Egg Bowl on either of these. So, yeah, I think that would have been a pretty obvious one for the last question. But on this one, we both predicted us to beat Ole Miss, so it wouldn't really matter anyway. But I said A&M in this one just because the recent success we've had against them. I mean, I talked about that in my reasoning anyway. So
Yeah. I have LSU here. Kind of forgot about A&M.
yeah. All right. Well, that is going to be it for the media questions. We always do look forward to when Hey Dad releases those, and there's a podcast about that. So we wanted to get in on that just like we did last year. And we're going to move on to our week 1 pick'em. We don't really know if there's going to be a punishment or if there is, what it's going to be. But we'll probably update on that at some point in the near future.
There was a whirlwind of things happening when it came to punishment time last year, and they took my money and didn't ship my shirt. Like, I'm pretty sure you watched me do it, like on a FaceTime or something.
Yeah.
I ordered a shirt.
Hey, was it the goodest boy in the sip?
Yeah, $30 on the goodest boy in the shirt. Yeah,
Man.
$30 I'm never getting back.
Yeah.
Shout out
All
to
right,
Shirt
well.
Collector.
Well, that's like I said, it's going to bring us to our week 1 pick'em, and so we've already submitted our answers. So these are not like we're not finding out about these live, but game number 1 is going to be South Alabama at number 24 Tulane, the Battle of Mardi Gras, and who gets to claim it. So obviously South Alabama gets to claim Mardi Gras. That's where it started. But I'm going to pick Tulane to win this game.
Picking Tulane as well.
All right. Game number 2 is going to be Colorado at number 17 TCU. Coach Prime's debut in the in Power 5. Forgot they're not in the same conference. Whoops.
They're about to be.
They're about to be,
Basically.
Yeah. So his debut in Power 5, I don't think it's going to be pretty. I'm going to go TCU by a landslide.
Yeah, like 80 new players.
Yeah.
So
Jeez.
I guess there's not skill in predicting such things.
Yeah.
But I will go to the team that played in the national championship last year.
Yeah. All right. You want to start us off with game number 3?
We go to the some would say the strongest conference in college football over the next few years. Most powerful. And you have 2 teams here, Northwestern and Rutgers. Massive media markets because Big Ten.
Yeah.
Surely both of these schools have head coaches, right?
Right?
You assume such things. I have no clue why this game is on here. I'm pretty sure I sent it to you and was like, please put it on there. But now the joke just kind of isn't funny at all.
Yeah.
And I'm having to look at Northwestern at Rutgers on my screen.
I am glad that we both agreed on this one, that Rutgers is going to win, so that like the punishment doesn't come down at the end of the year to one of us picking Northwestern, winning the big game.
Winning the. Is this a rivalry?
Surely not.
What if this is a named rivalry with a trophy?
And I just messed up by calling it the big game. This is the game.
This is the Civil War.
Canceled. Yeah, so I think I might have just spoiled your pick. We're both going Rutgers there, right?
Yep.
All right. So, yeah, they're just a dominant program. So they're just too good. All right. Game number 4 is Coastal Carolina at UCLA. And two programs that I just know a ton about. Yeah.
I will be taking UCLA.
I'm taking UCLA, yeah. Game number 5 is number 21 North Carolina at South Carolina. Is this in South Carolina Stadium or is it a neutral?
It is at Panthers.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah, I picked UNC to win this game for some reason.
I picked South Carolina because UNC has no defense, and I don't think that's coming close to changing.
Okay. That's our first difference of the season. So somebody, well, I guess we'll wait to the end to say that. But game number 6, West Virginia at number 7 Penn State. I think West Virginia, we talked about earlier, of like the worst teams in Power 5. They might be on there. Penn State's gonna to win this one in a rout. So
yeah, I'm.
Are you contemplating?
No, I was just thinking about Bob Huggins, and I just looked up. I just looked up like something about Bob Huggins, and the picture that came up on West Virginia's thing is making me laugh quite a bit. But I'm going Penn State here. I think Penn State has a chance to win the Big Ten this year.
Yep.
And if I think that's true, they cannot be any problems with West Virginia.
Yeah. All right. You just take the games the rest of the way?
Oh, yeah, for sure. UTSA at Houston. Houston has some really, really good looking uniforms for this one.
Yeah,
And
they really do.
I don't really know which one of these is actually better, but over the past few years, UTSA has been great.
Yeah.
But I think here I'm going to pick Houston.
Yeah, I'm not sure the college football script writers are going to let Houston lose their first game as a Big 12 team. So I'm going to say Houston here. Plus, they're wearing Oilers uniforms. So, yeah, they automatically won.
The next one is, I guess this is a good one. A game that kind of kicked off the stupid season last year.
Yeah.
This was bizarrely stupid. Number 5 LSU versus number 8 Florida State. Two teams that they're like the kind of cool pick for their conference championship.
Yeah.
Like it's kind of weird how they're both mirrored. Both returning quarterbacks are good. Florida State has a really good wide receiver. It's just size out there, and I'm excited for this game. I'm not sure it's going to tell us anything for our game against LSU, just because this is going to be Brian Kelly getting his guys up for second biggest game of the year, and I'm going to pick Florida State here.
Okay. Like I'm going to actually go against you on that one. So it'll be our second disagreement of the week. I'm going to go LSU. Like I said, they just had a strong finish to the season last year and going to the SEC championship game. And even though they lost that one, they dominated their bowl game and just were returning a lot of guys, returning one of the best quarterbacks in the SEC, if not the best. And I think LSU is gonna win this one and jumpstart a pretty special season. Yeah.
Next one is number 9 Clemson at Duke. I don't understand the Duke love. I will not be tuning in to watch Duke. Anyone, you can go to the movie theater and watch this game. That's a new thing for this year.
That is a thing that you can do.
You can go sit down, get your large popcorn, beverage of your choice, and watch Clemson at Duke on Monday night. With that being said, I will be picking Clemson.
I'm going to take Clemson. So, all right. Now, I'd just like to announce these. America's Game of the Week. Game number 10. Southeastern Louisiana travels to Starkville to play Mississippi State. And I'm taking the Bulldogs. Plain and simple. I'm not even considering the Lions in this one. They're terrible. I don't think we've played them since the Croom, and we beat them bad then. So we're going to beat them bad now.
I don't think the team from Strawberry Stadium in Hammond, Louisiana is going to come to Starkville and have much luck.
There you go. You heard it here first, folks.
Team from Hammond, Louisiana at Strawberry Stadium. What they're known as.
I will only be referring to them as that from here on out. And I hope to never have to talk about them again.
Never uttering their directions.
I'm never talking about this team ever again. In the DVD of our national championship season, I'm skipping right over week number 1. Why is it on DVD? Why did I, in a perfect world? Anyway, so we're gonna do a score prediction and a player of the game. I always love these on FCS weeks. I'll do a score first if you do player first. So
Okay.
I'm going to say 56-3.
Okay. That's kind of funny because I was going to do 56-6.
You know what? I'm going to say 59.
No change.
59.
Changing.
Okay. All right. 56-3.
It doesn't matter. I don't know what the score's for.
The score doesn't do anything.
I was gonna do exactly the UCF Kent State score, and that was gonna be my way of doing
There you go.
this.
All right. Who's your player of the game this week?
There's a hardworking guy on this team. First in, last out mentality. Just a clutch player. Bring your lunch with you type of guy. Type of guy you'd like to date your daughter. I think Creed Whitmore's going to have a great game.
Okay. So, are we doing offensive and defensive?
I don't know. We get to decide that, I guess.
Yeah, let's do offensive and defensive. So that's your offensive guy, right?
Okay, good.
I'll do Justin Robinson. I'd say he's going to have multiple touchdowns, several catches, many yards, and
Just an explosive player.
just an explosive guy. And defensively, I'll say DeCamerion Richardson starts his interception leading campaign. He'll get a pick.
I'm gonna go with Jet Johnson. Actually, what's our punter's name?
Keelan Crimmins.
Take him.
I hope he's not used very much.
I understand, but what if he has a good one? And Minnesota just hit a game-winning field goal as time expired.
There you go. You heard it here first. Again. They probably didn't hear it here first. So you're taking Keelan Crimmins and Creed Whitmore, and I'm taking Justin Robinson and DeCamerion Richardson. So
Those are
two very different directions. Wow. Okay. So those are our predictions for this week. That's our pick'em and our and our players. So now we get to move on to our favorite segment, and you guys showed out for us. So we got our Instagram questions. We posted the question prompt today. You guys did not disappoint, and it starts off with Courtney Taylor. How do y'all feel about the new logo? Talking about State Script, I love the fact that is our helmet logo.
Yeah. I cannot agree more.
Yeah, I mean that is just it's the greatest thing ever. The next question kind of brings us to another logo talk. Is Brooks Taylor? He asked, interlocking MSU permanent? I hope not. The point of going to the State Script is to kind of rebrand us to State, and we chose that over rebranding to MSU. And I like it because, in the SEC, no other school is really referred to as State, and I mean, why not take advantage of that? To be the one team to be called something, and it might grow nationally. You never know. That's why we're doing it. Jess Cooley asks, how many times this season will Mississippi State fill the stadium? I'm gonna say 0.
Yeah, it's probably a fair assumption.
We've filled it one time since Dak graduated, so I don't see Dan Mullen coming back and coaching against us for the first time ever again. That was the one time that we did fill it, so 0 is the answer to that. Andrus asks, Heisman dark horse? Is it Will Howard? I'll let you take this one, Hunter.
So for the people at home that would like to play along, look up Will Howard highlights, and then notice there are none. It's just Kansas State game highlights. I'm not going to say that every Heisman winner ever has had highlights, but every Heisman winner ever has had highlights.
Yeah.
I think that's like a prerequisite.
You at least have enough for like a 2-minute mixtape.
There's at least music.
Right? It's not just all 22.
Like, there's got to be something. But no, it will not be Will Howard. Sleeper for the Heisman, probably Bo Nix. He's having fun with this new offense.
Bodacious, if you will.
Bodacious. I actually think he's third in the Heisman.
Yeah. Dark horse. Yeah.
Dark horse.
All right. Drew Robinson asks our last question here. Other than Bama or Georgia, which SEC team is the best this upcoming season? I think that's probably LSU.
I think Texas.
I mean, is Tennessee supposed to be good again?
I'm not. I mean, Joe Milton's a fun one to be like, oh yeah, he'll be good, but we don't know if Joe Milton's going to be good, and a lot of that comes down to how good he is. Unless they want to be starting Nico, which I hope not. I don't want to have to learn how to pronounce his last name.
Yeah, I'll probably just say LSU. I mean, Tennessee could very well have another good season. They definitely have the talent for it. A&M could also be a team we've talked about. Like, if they ever can just get the most out of their talent, they will be as good as anybody in the country. So, yeah, but I'll say LSU is a pretty safe answer.
I don't think it's Florida.
It's not Florida. No. One game into the season, I can tell you that. So that is it for our Instagram questions, and that's it for our first episode of Season 9 of Going for Two. We're super excited for football season to be back, and we're excited to watch the Zach Arnett era begin officially this Saturday at 3 o'clock against the team from Hammond, Louisiana at Strawberry Field. So until next time, thank you guys for listening, and have a good weekend. It was a good pull.
It's a good pull. Strawberry Field's crazy.
and welcome to our first after show of season 9 of Going for Two. Luke, if you're listening, how many times have you watched American Psycho?
Strawberry Stadium previously hosted Hammond High School football. Does that
There
mean
you
like
go.
all of the high schools, or like is Hammond big enough to have multiple?
The fact that I've heard about it makes me think yes.
It does not look big enough.
Oh, that I may be dead wrong.
Like 20,000.
Hmm.
I don't know how many people cities have.
What is Laurel, like around 25,000 or something?
No, Hattiesburg is like 48. This is what the people are here for.
Laurel population is 17,000. So yes, I think
Think Hammond would have multiple?
yeah.
Or would that just be I mean, I don't know. Yeah, see y'all. Bye.
Bye.